What to know about all-inclusive resorts? Let's get into it. Number 1, do your research. All-inclusive resorts are not one and the same. They cater to different clientele. One may cater to older adults, the other next door may cater to young 20-something partiers. So doing your research will ensure that you will have the best time that you're looking for. I gotta say, most of this information backs down to research because some all-inclusive resorts mean different things when they say all-inclusive. Some include food and drinks, some include food, drinks, excursions, and many other different things. Also, some may include tips. Some resorts that don't include tips kind of prefer that you do tip their staff. In my experience, I've been at some resorts that if you do tip the staff, they give you better service, which probably shouldn't be the case, but you know, it's life. And they work really hard to please you and serve you and do everything to make sure that you have a great time. So tipping is definitely a way to help the locals out. Also, doing your research about the dress code. The resort may be casual day by day, but whenever you go into those restaurants, some resorts do prefer that you dress up. So look on your specific resort website and see what the dress code is. My next tip, make sure that you kind of take it easy, because when you go to an all-inclusive resort, you want to eat as much as you can, you want to drink as much as you can, because you spend a lot of good money to be here. But some people, they eat so much and drink so much that they tend to get sick, like their bellies get upset, and then they kind of boil it down to food poisoning because you're in a different country, which is not necessarily always the case. If you're drinking a lot of high sugary drinks and a lot of different food that your stomach isn't used to, your belly is not going to feel the best. The water at all-inclusive resorts is most likely safe to drink, the water as well as the ice. Now, when you leave the resort, it's not a guarantee that the water you get at different excursions and restaurants are going to be safe. You want to always drink bottled water when you go out of the resort, but the resort itself is not going to feed their tourists bad water. So you're usually pretty safe at all-inclusive resorts. My next tip is always at least consider an excursion. I know you paid a lot of money to be at the resort. You want to relax, you want to have a good time, but you don't want to go to a different country and not at least experience what's outside and the culture. There's something about stepping outside of your comfort zone, learning a new culture, interacting with the locals. Just at least consider it. My next tip is make sure you bring pretty much everything that you need for your trip. Now, of course, there may be this instance where you're just in a bind and you need something really quickly. But because the stores at all-inclusive resorts, the items are super high priced compared to what you can get at home or even in a local shop down the road. Just expect those really high prices at the resort: sunscreen, medications, souvenirs, of course. So just try to bring everything you can. Also, another thing that boils down to research is make sure you know the opening and close times at the restaurants, different amenities, different games that the resort may have around. Now, usually they do give you like a daily guide so you know that all of this information ahead of time, but don't assume that you can go and do every single thing all around the resort all day long. The number one thing that people forget when they're booking their all-inclusive resort is forgetting to book your transportation from the airport to your hotel and back. Now, you can Google different companies around the area that you're looking for, or when you book with a travel agent, they can help you. Do not leave your valuables out in the room and around the resort. You want to believe that paying for a 5-star resort, you won't have to worry about that kind of stuff, but people have sticky fingers. I was at a 5-star resort once and I left my little bag that had GoPro batteries and stuff in it by the pool. Next thing I know, couldn't find it and it was probably taken. I did find it a couple of days later, just kind of strewn off by the bushes. So just keep in mind that you should be really cautious about these things, as well as in your room. I've heard of stories of even like the housekeeping coming and taking a couple of dollars or items and stuff. So always use your safe and do not leave your items strewn up about around the pool and the beach. One thing to be very mindful of, and it's become a problem in the last few years, is that some of these resorts are involved in timeshares and they will really haggle you. So that may be one thing you want to do your research on, is what resorts don't have timeshares, which do. Kind of be prepared for that, as well as they also like have companies that they work with that also will haggle you to book excursions and stuff. So that's kind of a deal breaker for a lot of people when they travel. My next tip is always have a copy of your passport as well as a copy of your reservation in case things go wrong. The resort can't find your reservation and stuff like that. So that's just really with anywhere you travel, you want to have a copy of those items. Now my next tip is for you to know that some resorts do accept USD in tips, as well as like Canadian dollars and stuff, but it's really preferred that you do get the local currency. You can do that ahead of time at your bank at home, or you can find an ATM, take out money, and they will give you the local currency. Now also, this kind of brings up another tip that I didn't think about before, but whenever you're paying for something, if you go outside of the resort and you use your card, always click you want them to charge you in the local currency. That gives your bank the opportunity to give you the appropriate transfer rate, versus if you click US dollars, you're telling the shop or the restaurant that you want the shop to transfer the currency. So shops and restaurants and stuff like that can not give you the correct conversion rate, but when you click local currency, that gives your bank the opportunity to do that. I also love to bring a big tumbler that you can bring out to the pool. They can fill that tumbler up with drinks, alcoholic drinks, or whatever you want, instead of using those little small cups that they give you. That's just a quick little tip that I think may benefit you. And just know that your concierge can help you with anything that goes wrong. If you book with that travel agent, yeah, they can do the same, but your concierge is the person on site that can help you quickly. Say like your room is bad, or you just need a taxi somewhere really quickly, you're sick and you need to get to a hospital, they're your first line of contact. So that's everything that I thought about that you should know whenever you visit an all-inclusive resort. I know there's a lot more than I'm probably not thinking of, so if you've ever been, leave a comment down below and let me know some other tips that you want to give others.